Welcome to Wholesale Hotties, the place where ladies in real estate are talking about real estate. I'm your host and MC for the evening, Sharon Lee Smith, together with my co-host, Donda Mullinex.
Hi.
Monique will be here a little bit later, but today we have a really awesome guest that I'm super excited to have on. Donda, let me tell you a little bit about our guest before I introduce her, okay? About a year ago, I'm scrolling on Instagram, right? And I don't know if you know this about me, right? Remember that artsy thing from like the late 80s that was like that whole black, white, red motif, right? So you'd have these black and white photographs of pianos and there'd be like a red rose that just popped in it or whatever.
Right.
I love it. Like I'm addicted to it. I love it, right? So I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see this post and it's this kitchen and it's phenomenal. It's red cabinets, it's black and white tile, it's these gold brass fixtures. It was so beautiful and I loved it. I started following Betsy from that moment on, and then I started stalking her. I have to admit this, right? I'm like, okay, this is girl buying properties, and I went and I found property where she was buying property, and then I went and looked her up, and I'm like, hey, I have a deal for you.
Awesome. Oh my gosh.
I want to welcome Betsy Klein of Klein Design. She's an amazing interior designer. I totally fangirl. I don't fangirl about anyone, but Betsy is just phenomenal. I love her artwork, which is flipping houses. Betsy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. She forgot to mention she didn't just find one house for me. She found 4. It was a package deal.
That's true.
They were
nice.
Yes, they were all in the neighborhood that I do a ton of work in. So yeah, she really did deliver. And but
Sharon never does anything little. She always has to do it very good.
I go big. I go home, right? Why not?
I had that part in there because she definitely forgot to mention that part.
Well, welcome to the show, Betsy. I'm super excited to have you on. I really love your work. So let's start there. How did you get into what you do? How did you start in real estate?
So I did not finish college. I went into bartending. My parents were like, you're not going to be able to do anything without finishing college. I don't sit in a classroom well. I'm very smart, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I will make it. And so I was bartending, and I ended up taking a course for real estate. And as I was taking it, I was like, because again, that's like kind of a classroom setting. I was like, okay, wow. Like as soon as I finish this, like, this is not what I'm going to do. And I ended up passing the test the first time. And so I got into it. I was excited. And so I've been a real estate agent for a while, and I had wanted, sorry, I definitely got something in my throat today.
No worries.
I wanted to get into renovating. Like I always wanted to do exactly what I'm doing, where I was envious of the people who got to like pick out the tile, everything that a house needs. Like I was like, if I could just do that, that would be amazing. And I like what I do more because I get to be a part of buying the house. I get to be a part of everything, like negotiating with the contractors. I get to be a part of like picking out everything that goes in it design wise, and then also selling it, staging it and then selling it. So, yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. Just, working with buyers and sellers is amazing in real estate, but I really wanted to do something where like I felt like I had a little bit more control, where I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing, versus, when you work with buyers and sellers, you're really on their schedule, and that's fine. Yeah. There's people who are amazing at it. I think I did well at it for the years that I did it, but I think I was just ready to do something where I felt like I was more in charge. And I feel like that every day. I feel like I get to do whatever I want, even though I work a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Especially, and we have sellers too that you can tell them, we should probably update a few things, put some fresh paint in. They don't always want to listen to what you have to say, and then it sits on the market, and then why isn't my house selling? And you're like, I tried to tell you, you should probably do a few things. And
yeah.
So
doing that too for others, like you almost have to play it safe. Like you don't want to say like Sharon was saying, like, oh, we're gonna do red cabinets. They'd be like, hell no. So now it's like you get to test that out, and if it doesn't sell, I'm the one who, it doesn't sell. You know what I mean? It's different.
Right. But when you're the owner, you can do what you want. And oh my gosh, the inspiration. So where do you find a lot of your inspiration for your work, for your pieces, for your art, really?
A ton of stuff I get off of Instagram. And then if I have like a particular idea, I will look it up on Pinterest. And there's been some stuff that I've come up with where like the contractors are like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh, let me look it up. And I truly can't find it yet. And then in that case, like they're like, well, we shouldn't do it. And I'm like, we should do it. And then we have to wait until I bring it to market for people to be like, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. But
yeah,
I'm all about testing the boundaries, even though like it does feel like kind of like you're in your own lane at some points.
Yeah. I think though, like as an artist, right, this is your expression of art, and that risk is such a reward, right?
Yeah.
You're seeing these sellers. So buyer, when these buyers come into your home, like what is some of this feedback that you get from some of these people?
Right.
So I actually just met today. I was destaging a house out in Northside. Yep. And that's where Sharon sold me the houses. And this one was outside of that package, but the buyer showed up, which is kind of unusual. I guess she was going to measure something on the outside, something with the windows. So I got to meet her, and she was like, her best friend was with her, who was like, we're obsessed. Like, we love the house. But she was like, you named the house Olive. And she was like, my cat's name is Olive. And I was like in the description online. And she said that she was looking for something small. Like we immediately connected. And I think like even by some of the ways that I market the houses, I truly do look for one specific person. And that's like completely opposite of what most renovators do. Like most renovators, they want to appeal to the masses. And I don't knock that, because some people are getting multiple offers, and I think that's amazing. But like I truly try to like focus in so hard on one person, and then it ends up though, like, I mean, she was like crying in the front yard because she was like, it just felt so like it was everything to her. I mean, think about like how much that meant. And then, the house aligned with her aesthetic and everything. And so it's like, yeah, it didn't sell like day one, but it found someone who's forever going to be thankful for that position that they're in right now.
I love it. So tell us some stories about like some of the riskier things that you've done, and how like did that correlate to longer time on market, or did some of the crazy things be like sold right away? Like how did that work out for you?
So sorry, Callie is in the back.
That's okay.
She's dropping her ball right now.
Callie's adorable.
Thank you. Yeah, she's very much a part of the business. So I think like one thing is specific. So I did a house in Petersburg where it was beautiful. It had tall ceilings. In the dining room, we had like this older trim that it kind of leaves like, I want to say 1/4 of the wall above it. I don't know if you can picture it. Yeah. I painted the bottom half, and I did the wallpaper on the upper 1/4 plus the ceiling. And we really couldn't find pics of it at the time. My contractor was like, are you sure you don't want to do the bottom half? And my best friend was like, Betsy, like,
Uh-oh. Did we lose you guys?
I'm here.
Okay, Sharon, it says Sharon just joined, so there she is.
Okay, good, we're back.
Sorry, I'm not sure what happened, internet.
No worries.
Or whatever.
So one of the riskier things I did was I don't think that's my dinging.
No.
I think it's fine. I had shut mine off earlier. I'm looking at it, but.
Definitely not mine. I don't know.
Show an option, yeah. Sorry if it is, because
that's okay.
I shut it off earlier. I told Sharon I'd silenced it for the rest of the day, but I don't know.
I love that do not disturb feature. My phone's always on.
Right?
Yeah. Anytime I'm doing anything, which is always so. Okay, so yeah, in this particular house, I did that top 1/4 of the wall in the dining room. I had the wallpaper like go across the whole ceiling. So it was like this seamless like pattern of all these flowers. And again, everyone was like, no, like that's not how it's done. And I was like, let's just do it. And everyone who walked in that house was like, I mean, the appliance guys are delivering stuff. They're like, wow. Like you just felt like you were in, it was just like a whole moment. Cause like there's this huge pattern above you. It's like these beautiful tall ceilings. It matched the trim. It was so cool, but it was so like, I mean, you could call it a risk because most people aren't doing that. And it's not even a normal spot. Like you see sometimes a little bit of wallpaper in a laundry room, maybe a bathroom. But so yeah, that was fun. That house sold, I think like within 2 days. I don't remember if we had multiple offers, but the girl who bought it wanted it so bad. She paid $10,000 over. And she just sent me an invite the other day. It also, this was another risk in that house. In the living room, there was no original lights. Some of these older houses don't have lights and everything.
Yeah.
I did have the option to add it, but I was like, I really want to do this huge disco ball. And that was like the first thing I thought of with that house. Like I didn't think of anything else. And again, everyone's like, you should do a light. Like it's the living room. And now she calls that house the disco house. She just sent me an invite like a week ago. She's about to have a house anniversary. And she's like, welcome to the disco house. Her family's messaged me about it. Like, it's just really sweet. And like, again, like that could turn some people off. Like some people do want a light in the living room, and that makes sense. I'm just not afraid to like lean into what I love and like hoping that passes its way like along to someone who also loves it.
Yeah.
The red cabinets, the house that Sharon was talking about, that was my biggest risk, that entire house. I got so in my head. I'm not even going to lie. Like, I was like, I can do whatever now. I can literally do anything. It was like probably my 4th house. And I was like, I'm going to do a circus house. And I did do a circus house. I had red cabinets, like red, like just red. You can picture it. And I remember walking in and I was like, oh shit. Like when I first saw them, because we couldn't order them. Like we had to like get them. We ordered them, then we painted them. You could get it custom ordered, but it would have taken too long for renovation. So anyway, I walked in and I was like, oh shit. Like it was just fluorescent. I had acrobatic wallpaper there was like I love to do banquet. So if there's a spot where I can do a banquet, like some bench seating, it just feels so cozy and like intentional. I will always do that. So above that, I had acrobatic wallpaper. I had a monkey light over the sink. And then I had like a whiskey room in the front. And then upstairs, I did a bedroom. I wanted to do like, how circus tents have stripes?
Yep.
Right.
I didn't do red and white stripes, but I did like cream and white stripes. So like you could still make it, a guest.
It was like the feel of it, but not,
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
But it was definitely like, it was literally a circus house. I mean, that's what I called it. Yeah. And I think it was done really well, but it was definitely a risk. I think that one took maybe almost 60 days to sell. It was in the summer. And honestly, with Northside, like things usually at least take 30 days. If I'm pricing it like the top of the market, like I just am.
Right.
And I think it sold for a record price. I still see that house like all the time when I'm running comps.
Like comps, yep.
Yeah. And it found its people. And I remember the agent calling me and she was like, it was so funny. A lot of people don't know that I'm the one who renovates it. So like, they're like, they think they're just talking to someone who's representing a crazy seller or something. And so she was like, I was just at this house. It was different. My clients, they like different. And so they loved it, but and like, she was definitely like, didn't even know how to take it. Like, instead of just being like, oh, it's totally their vibe. She was like, so it was funny because I was excited that I got an offer on it. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah. So,
Betsy, do you find most of the people that are buying these are buying them for Airbnb because of the creativity, because themes do so well in Airbnb, or they're just personally for their personal homes?
Everyone I've sold to, I believe it's for a personal home. I haven't heard of anyone doing an Airbnb. I would think it would be smart, especially with a lot of them. I mean, I always have that as a backup plan if I ever need to purchase one. And that one in particular, the circus house, like I was like, this would be so fun. But no, it was just homeowners who loved, you know, something different. And like, think about like every other house you see, like if that is your true vibe, when you see that one, you're like, oh, like this is it. So
character. Yeah.
Like it takes.
I love what you said. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I love what you said earlier, where you're like it attracts like the house attracts its person, and I think that's so true. And I think that as you're pouring your inspiration and yourself into these houses, you're setting the tone, setting the vibration of the house, the mood of the house, and yes, that person will just be drawn to it. I love that. So.
Are most of these homes that you're doing, are they older homes too? Like in like eclectic neighborhoods and type of stuff? Is that?
Yeah, everything is, everything's older. I think like the newest one I did might've been like 1990 something, but yeah, most of them are much older. And it's helped me too that I've like been able to do these different things. Like I had someone recently call and they were like, I have a house that has some like funky features. Like I feel like you're the only person who could take this on. And I had competition from other investors who had offered on it. And he literally told his sellers, like, she's going to be able to make this work. Like this is and that's cool to me too. When there's sellers who, because everyone's in a different position,
right.
They're able to like see the end of it and see like the house, you know, brought back in like a different light. I think that's really neat.
Yeah. So do you ever do design for homeowners, or are you only buying and flipping and putting your designs into your flips?
So I went back and forth on this. I have just opened up doing design for homeowners. And it's gone really well. Like I had 5 slots and they sold out immediately. And I was like, okay, whoa, like now I actually have to design the houses. It's different because I'm used to being able to do an entire house. And I'm sure that I will have clients where they're like, do the entire house. But when you're doing a specific room, like it might not mesh with the rest of the house, but I have to remember that like they've hired me because they want the look that I'm bringing. And, you know, maybe they come back and they're like, yeah, let's do the rest of the house type of a thing.
Yeah.
So yes, I have started designing for others. I also have a full-time project coordinator who has been lovely. Like I didn't even know she had any design aesthetic, but it wasn't her background, but she does. So she's even been able to help with that as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, you just naturally, Betsy, yeah, it sounds like we're just naturally good with this design thing. It just came to you. It wasn't like you went to school for it or anything, right? I mean, bartending to designing homes and stuff. Really, you just had an eye and a very, like Sharon was saying, very artsy feel about things. So it's really neat that you are able to do that. I love it.
Yeah, and I've definitely picked stuff up along the way, like scale. Like I've learned a lot about, you know, what sizes of things look good. I mean, I'm obsessed with, people will send me lights and I'm like, okay, but what size is it? So there's a lot that I've learned along the way. And I'm still learning. And I feel like every house that I do, I'm like, oh, like this could have been done better. But then I take that with me to the next one. And so it's been fun.
Nice. Tell us about some challenges you've had.
Oh gosh, where do we start? Oh my gosh, challenges. Challenges. Well, we are in the field of working with contractors, so that's always one.
Yeah.
I've been lucky. The contractor that I've worked with from the beginning, I still work with. He's only able to take on so many projects, so that's where I've kind of expanded working with others as well. But right. I've learned like through that too, that like his appreciation for old things and how things go together actually means like, and his like, I guess design eye is somewhat similar to mine because I've worked with people who don't have that.
Yeah.
And I was shocked by the things that, like, when I said, okay, put a mantle on the fireplace, like, I'm like, how could that have gone so wrong from what I'm picturing in my head? So finding people that have like a similar like look, and some contractors, what they do is literally point out subs. They don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? So finding that person, I think that's been helpful. But again, also it has its own challenges. Other challenges are, you know, I've had a lot of pressure, and I've been really thankful that lately I haven't felt this, but to find the right deals, find the right houses. Honestly, when Sharon brought me that 4-pack, I was in a position where I had talked to my business coach, and I wanted to do 7 houses per quarter. And I started this business a year and a half ago. So I started with literally 1 house. I took that profit and like replaced my AC in my house because I didn't have any AC for like a whole summer and part of the winter. And then, you know, put that into 2 houses. So I've just been growing it like that. So it's hard to expand to 7 per quarter, because that doesn't mean I just have 7 at once. It means, you know, I have more than that. But anyway, long story short, Sharon bringing that 4-pack of houses literally launched. That was my first quarter doing 7 houses. And so I'm so thankful for that, because I don't think there would have been a way that I could have gotten to that many houses in that quarter. And so now I've been able to, everything I get is off market. When I started, it was on market, and that took me a tremendous amount of time, a ton of negotiation. And it's been through like social media and people bringing me stuff. But, you know, I could be in that position again where I'm like, oh my God, like I need houses. You know what I mean? So it feels a lot better to be in this position where I'm having houses brought to me, because when you're in the like starvation mode, like that's when I've made poor decisions where I'm like, I just need a house. Like I need to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but it's still, I guess I would say like a fear that I hold, because I'm like, you know, tomorrow, like no one could bring me anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's a challenge. And then I'm trying to think what else. I mean, there's just so many. I'm like, I should know more. But I guess I would just say, you know, the pressure of making sure that the cash flow makes sense. Like this house sells on this time so that I can buy that house, and this renovation budget doesn't go over. And a lot of like doing design on renovations is, can we get the right light fixture? Can we get it in on time? Can we get it at the right price? Can we put it in the right spot? So it's not just design. There's so much more to it that comes into play, which is timing and pricing. And so I feel like it makes me better at what I do, because I'm like, if I had no time limit and no budget, like I could create anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you figure that, right? How do you budget for something when you're out shopping for a certain look and it's a different look in every house, right? Versus some flippers, right? It's a McDonald's, it's a production line, right? It's every fixtures, it's the same with every house, it's always the same Sherwin-Williams paint job, and you know what I mean?
Right.
How are you budgeting your projects?
So I have figured out, and I couldn't tell you the exact equation, but via my spreadsheets, I have figured out kind of like a square footage per house type, like what my allowance for lighting, or I should say hardware. Lately, I've been getting into some more expensive stuff, and I've been using some excuses like it's a nicer house, and I've done that in the past. Every once in a while I go over budget. But I don't know. I guess I know it's easy for me to be like, oh no, I know I can't afford that. I know I can't pay that. So no matter how much I love it, I try to go find something similar, or I just get it out of my head. I'm just used to shopping on Amazon, Wayfair. I've just gotten good at budget friendly stuff. And if I do buy, like sometimes I'll do like a specific light. Like I had in the circus house, I had this like pearl string light.
Yeah.
It was more than I would have ever spent, but you could see it from the outside looking in. It was like a statement when you walked in, and that specific house, it didn't have an open floor plan like a lot of the Foursquares have. So I needed to I painted diamonds on the floor. I needed all that to distract from the immediate feeling that I felt like people would feel, which is like, there's a bedroom to the left, which I staged as a whiskey room, but technically it was the third bedroom, left of the front door. And then you went down a hall, and then you got to where the living room and kitchen was. So it wasn't
Right.
So I needed, and I had a bar under the stairs. So I did as much as I could to distract and make it an event. So yeah, I guess I'm just used to trying to find things on a budget. That's all. You get used to it.
Yeah, so you're giving yourself a budget. Stay within these guidelines. Yeah. No, I love that. That's
and
actually
spend a little more on this or a little less on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah,
Do
like
you ever go to the thrift store shopping?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying the hardware is general. You're like, okay, I'm going to spend more on this light, so I'm going to do a little bit less maybe on the knobs and stuff in the home or whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I get it. That's so cool, though. It sounds amazing. Are you ever taking walls out or anything? Or are you just trying to work with what the home offers you and create? Because you got really creative with this one from the sounds of things. But
It gets creative with all of them, girl.
Yeah, but I mean, without like gutting and tearing out walls, where like then it's a whole new palette and you totally change. But it's like you walked into this house with this weird kind of floor plan, and you're like, how can I make this work? Which really a great talent.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. So I have not changed a lot of floor plans. I don't, and I'm thinking of our friend Patty, who Sharon, you know.
Yeah.
She is and I haven't seen her work. Like, I've seen her work in person, but I haven't like been behind the scenes as she's doing it. But I know that she does a tremendous job of doing like full guts, and she makes houses like, she just goes to the nth degree. And I mean, they're just amazing. I don't do full guts. Like, I have saved the plaster walls on most of mine. I haven't done a ton of layout changes at all. So I normally, like, I've done like, I'll open an old kitchen up where like, okay, we had a walkway and now we made the walkway bigger. And so I've done that, or I've like framed in a closet.
Minimal stuff though.
Yeah, it would make me so nervous to do a whole, like, honestly, if I had to decide where everything went, and I would be nervous about switching all the plumbing. I just haven't done a project that has been quite that deep. I've been able to work with all the walls.
Well, just because you're so creative that your mind just goes, you just it's like looking at the clouds and you're like, oh, I see this and this and this, where other people go, what do you mean? These are just clouds, you know? It sounds like you just were born naturally with that knack to be able to do something like that and go, this would be cool as whatever, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of like stone sculptures people, right? The artists, and they say, well, I just brought the statue out of the stone, right? They like look at the stone and they see what is inside and they like make it that, right? Same thing.
It's crazy.
It's like you see this house and you're like, oh, it can be this, right? In your mind. And so I think that's beautiful. You ever go like to the thrift store or to the restore or whatever and find really cool stuff there that people have reclaimed?
I'm horrible with shopping. I really am. It's like been on my list of things I want to do, and I will get in the car. I just did it a week ago, and I'm like, I can't stand shopping. I truly can't stand shopping. So that being said, I have gotten some cool pieces like out of houses that I've been able to like repurpose places. One of my best friends, Tori, she just actually launched design stuff as well. And she has been a part of the staging with me from the beginning. Right. She is an amazing thrifter. So she'll send me like a picture of like, hey, do you want this? And I'm like, yes, please buy it. And she's offering personal shopping stuff for people now too. But, I've had a couple girls work for me that have done that for me. And then one thing that I am good at doing, like this is my only kind of thrifting I can do, is Facebook Marketplace, because I can do it online.
Oh, yeah.
And half the time I go pick it up, and the other half I'm like, I don't know what I offered at midnight. What? I wake up and I'm like, surely not. But it's mainly the coordination. Like now that I have someone full time, like I'm like, just send the link and she'll go pick it up. So
awesome. That's so funny.
Yeah. Do you guys feel like that? Does anyone else do that on Facebook Marketplace?
Yes. Oh my God. So I hate to admit this. I just found this amazing Murphy bed with like bookcases on either side, right? Fold out bed. It was only like $250. And I'm like, oh, that would go great in this other bedroom. And then I'm like, yeah, but how am I going to like, I don't, it's just coordinating pickup and figuring out like when, I'm just like, I'll forget it. I'm not going to buy it. But yes, it was like midnight when I found it and I'm like texting the person. I'm like, yeah, I'm really bad.
Yeah, like anything's possible at that hour. And the next day you're like, I have a million things to do. I don't have a truck to pick this up. Who's installing that? Like what? And the person's like, what time can you be here? And I'm like, oh God.
No, like maybe next week I might be able to coordinate it.
Right,
And
like, yeah,
today, that's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. That's how that goes. So, but I've gotten some cool finds when I make the effort to go pick them up.
Exactly. That's so funny.
Oh
my goodness.
I think thrifting is like, I picture people who are good at thrifting. So when I go into a thrift store, I see like an entire store of junk and I'm like, oh my God, like get me out of here. Versus the people who are good at it go in and they're like, oh, this little thing, and they bring it in and I'm like, that's amazing. But I kind of feel like that talent is like what I can do in like an old house because I go in and I'm like, this is beautiful. And like, there's shit everywhere. But a lot of people are like, they can't see past that. So I think it's a totally different talent.
That's why I thought like perhaps this would be your vibe, right?
I know.
Totally a thrifter. I love going into all these antique little stores and like digging for the treasure and finding something super cool. And even the barter, right? The negotiating it down to the price and whatever. I love all of it. This is what me and my boyfriend do on the weekends.
That's amazing. If you want to start a stockpile for me, I'll pay you for your time. I would love it.
Yeah, you have the patience for that. You just got to have because if you go in and you're looking one specific thing and you see all that stuff, like you said, Betsy, you're just like, I don't see what I'm looking for, and you're gone. You definitely have to have the patience for it. I think.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of digging through, and there's a lot of times where you go and you're like, there ain't anything here today. I'm leaving. So it's definitely a treasure hunt. Anyway,
so Betsy, how many PCs do you have working for you, and how many projects do you have going currently right now?
So right now I have 4 renovations that are actively being renovated. And then I have one house that is closing next week. I just destaged it today. The guys are doing some repairs. And then I have a house that's on the market. So I had a second GC. He just went to jail for 2 years. So he's a goner. So it actually might be a blessing because I was just talking to my dad like right before this call. I almost like got teary because I am handling one of the projects that he was on that is a new build. I've never done a new build. I actually purchased the house from someone who wasn't able to finish it and they just ran out of funds. They couldn't do it. So I purchased it like kind of midway. And I started thinking like after I realized this person was like gone, the GC, I was like, well, I could put the permit in my name and I could like, handle subs, which honestly, a lot of people who renovate do that themselves. I just always had a GC and was like, I can't do it. Like, how you've never done something kind of a thing.
Right.
So, I've been bringing out subs, getting quotes. I've been out there so much, but I just went over the numbers and I think I'm going to be like totally fine, like able to recoup. He had taken a deposit before he got locked up. I think I'm going to be able to recoup that cost. And it's really hard, but I'm really like proud of myself because I've just gotten, multiple quotes on everything. And I've found like the right people. Like there's been people who have tried to take advantage, have told me like, oh, you need to do all this. And, when I was like, I don't feel like that's right. I don't totally know that's not right, but I feel like something in my gut is wrong about that. And, then I find the right person who's like, oh no, you don't need to rewire the entire house. It's almost ready for roughing. Yeah. So, right now I only have still the one GC that I worked with from the beginning. It's been very hard to like branch out. I had to fire one before this gentleman. So had to basically fire 2, except for I didn't fire him. He just disappeared. So now though, I have the one new build that I'm GCing, and then I have a house in Manchester that I just was able to get dumpsters out and, you know, get it emptied. It had hoarders in it and a bunch of stuff out. And I don't know yet. I feel like I might GC that one as well.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Like I said, I just brought on a full-time girl, so it would be a lot of work, but I don't know. I feel like once I prove it to myself and find the right people, that it could be really worth it.
Yeah.
Yep.
How are you currently vetting your subs?
Well,
I mean, lesson learned with that GC, right? So how are you now? What's your new process for vetting?
Crazy because I'm such a like trusting person, and I also don't like paperwork. So like, I just said to the girl who works with me the other day, her name's Alex. She's wonderful. So I'm just going to refer to her as Alex. I was like, you cannot let me do any more work without a contract. I had a contract with the guy who's locked up, but it's so easy for me to be like, oh, you can be out tomorrow. Cool. Go do it. And then I'm like, okay, what happens if that doesn't pass inspection? You didn't even. Right. So I have been asking people if they're licensed and insured.
Good.
Send me that. I've had people send me their W-9s, which I'm like, oh, nobody sends me that. That's crazy. I'm like, wait, I can report this for tax stuff? That's amazing. Like, I still write that off, but I haven't, like, I don't know. I haven't done that much with it. So I've asked that. I think that's it. Is there more to it? Can you teach me some tips, Sharon? I feel like that was a really
I can, as a matter of fact. You definitely want their COI, their certificate of insurance, right? So just asking them
that down.
Okay. So just asking them if they're insured is one thing, but actually getting their COI that shows you are the additional insured for that address is like something that you want. You as GC are the additional insured, and the address of the property will be on that. And so you're definitely going to want that as well.
And are you doing this on all subs? Like,
yeah. If they have insurance, they should be able to get you a certificate of insurance where you are named as additional insured, and the property that they are working on is the property address on that certificate.
Wow, that feels terrifying to ask for. Okay, I got it.
No, so easy, just as much as you want to ask for their W-9, right? Because then when you file taxes, your accountant is going to be like, this money went to that. And so then the IRS goes after them for their income, right? Or whatever. And it's not on you, right? If you're basically validating the expenses that you had, right?
Yeah. And I would recommend you also go double check that they're actually licensed still. Because a lot of guys will lose their license. Oh, I'm licensed. But you go and have the gal that for you do a check on that. Because
D4 has a license lookup right on their website. So you can, once they say, yes, I'm licensed, you can go and look it up to make sure that it's actually active. And on D4, it'll show you any citations or any problems that they've had. Like if they've been reported for, bad work or whatever, that's all on D4. It's public record. You can see all that up there. So if they've ever been I had someone complain about them and reported to D4, it'll be up there. So you might want to check on that as well. And honestly, I ask for referrals. Like, who else have you done work for? Can I talk to them? And a lot of times I won't necessarily call and talk to those people, but the fact that they're like, oh yeah, talk to this person gives me more confidence that, okay, they're doing good enough work that they can say to that someone else will back them up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes if they seem sketchy, right? I go by vibrations too, right? So if they seem kind of like, if I get that gut feeling, I'll make those calls too. But for the most part, if they're willing to be like, yeah, this person can refer me or that person can refer me, then I'm like, okay, well then they're probably good. If they've got those people.
Yeah, and ask them if they got any current jobs they're doing, and if you can go on the site and see.
You want to make sure you walk it.
See, that's the thing. I don't care. I hate that. Like I'm so like. I had a guy today. He's telling me all the other jobs. I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm thinking, well, when are you going to be on my job? You can come see this, you can come see that. And I'm like, okay, that's great. When am I going to have time to do that? You come do work. But it does make sense. I should want to go see their work.
Because when you see some cabinets installed, you're like, that's not done right. There's you haven't done this out.
Well, like you were saying about the mantle, right? Somebody installed a mantle and you're like, that's not what I had in mind, right? So if you go and see what work they're doing at another house, you can see if their aesthetic vibes with yours.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you this. What subs, and if you don't want to say it on here, that's fine. What subs are you making sure are licensed and aren't? Because to me, there's certain subs that I'm like, I feel like you don't even need to be licensed. You just need to be able to do it.
Your 5 majors, right? Foundation or framing, electrical, plumbing.
Whoa. Writing it down. Okay. Electrical, plumbing.
HVAC.
Okay. Got it. Okay,
right?
cool.
So your base, your top, and the 3 in the middle. Those are the top ones that I'm going to make sure.
So those are your mechanics. Everything else is pretty much cosmetic anyway.
Right.
Yeah. And there's certain stuff like tile work, right? So that's kind of like a niche thing. I might want to check on tile guys just to see they're an art themselves. They're an artist themselves, right? Tile guys have their own thing, right? And so much like a tattoo artist or whatever, a lot of tile guys have like a portfolio. They're going to show off their work to you. So if you're talking about tile work, I would ask for that type of thing. Hey, do you have a portfolio you can show me? Do you have pictures of your work that you can show me? Because they'd be happy to brag about that a lot of times.
Yeah, and sometimes you get a tile guy who doesn't. They say they are, and then you get them in there. You're like, no, I got to get somebody in here to fix this
exactly. So
tile is really important to get a good, really good artist, because that is, you can't hide it. It's like it's the focal point. A lot of the stuff.
Yeah, and it makes such a difference when it's done perfectly. Oh my gosh, it's like
yeah.
Like you said, it's art. So yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah. So you went on this amazing trip a couple weeks ago to Egypt.
Weeks ago.
It was a couple months maybe. I don't know. It was a few weeks ago.
It wasn't long ago. It was like, a month. It honestly wasn't. Yeah.
And okay, tell me more about this, because I thought like this afterwards you're like, oh, I'm rolling out this new thing. And then you started with, I think, taking on the homeowner clients, right? So what was this thing all about?
So I do business coaching with a girl who, she just coaches businesses. Like, she doesn't coach like specific renovation stuff or anything. She works with people in the beauty industry all over. And she also hosts retreats. And so I went on a retreat to Egypt. I just signed up for it randomly. I don't travel much. I don't really do much of anything besides work. So I was like, okay, I'm going to sign up for this. Like, this is good. And it was in Egypt. And like, I'm also not like a history buff, but like, I'm like, cool, I'll just go to Egypt, like whatever. And so part of like the launch was like, let's pretend, and I will say pretend, I mean, we did business coaching stuff there for sure, but like that you're going across the world to like finalize this launch. And it was fun because what I did was truly on the way home on the plane, launched it all on social media that I was going to be a designer. And people had already saw that, like, they were already watching my stuff because I was in Egypt that week. And so I'm on the plane home, I'm selling out these spots, and she's just magical, Christina with Elixir Media Co. She like has a way of like, I honestly enjoyed selling the spots more than anything. Like, as soon as I got all the people, I was like, holy shit, what am I going to do with you guys? But it was just so much fun. I mean, I do love sales, and it was exciting. It was like a compliment to me too, that people like wanted to work with me and trust my designs. Because of course, anything you launch, you're like, I don't know, like, is anyone going to want this shit? Like,
tell me about it.
Yeah, right. So exactly, it's scary, but you have to believe in yourself. And then you're like, oh, people love me. This is crazy. But yeah, so we did business coaching. We did like personal growth stuff. a lot of like seeing yourself in the highest self, which was like important to me just because I think everyone's raised with like different beliefs. And my parents are absolutely wonderful and I love them, but a lot of their lifestyle is like living within your means. Like, so when I like even go travel, they're like, you know, well, how are you doing this? Like, how are you affording this? Like, whatever it is. It's like, I work all the freaking time. Like, and I said to my dad recently, I was like, you know, I've always been so excited when you travel, you know, why aren't you excited to me? Why aren't you excited for me? Kind of a thing. So like talking about that, like we did a lot of like, you know, taking that guilt away. Like, what do I actually want for my life? Which is, you know, travel and stuff. And so I think it was like good for me just because it was like I bonded with like everyone there. I learned a lot from the coach that I work with, but also just like, you know, we all work so hard. There's no point in working hard if you're not going to go enjoy it, whatever that looks like. Like, if it's travel, go freaking travel. Like that's, you know what I mean? And like, there's no point in waiting until you're however old to do it. Like, just do it now. Yeah. So, it kind of gave me like that empowerment. And she's been a big part of too, Christina, a part of like my social media and like how I portray myself. And like, it's allowed me to be like so authentically me that like, those are the people that I draw in, which before I was believed like, and I think everyone has this sort of fear with social media, which is like, well, if I'm too me or if I show too much of this or too much of that, like people are going to think this or that. Like, who freaking cares? Like, there's no one that can be better at being you. And if they don't like it, okay, they probably weren't going to support you anyway. And if they love it, like they're going to freaking love it. And you're going to have a literal fan. And so I've like leaned into that and it's gotten me very far. And it's really been a part of like the opportunities, the houses, people that are like, I can do this work, I can do that work, you know? So it's been really amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can totally relate with that. My just in probably November, I was having a conversation with my mom and she's like, I don't know how you afford 3 mortgages. Like she can't, it blows her mind that I have multiple houses, right? And that scarcity mindset that generation really comes from. And so I can totally relate to that.
I even carry it like I feel like truly like sick from guilt, like a lot of times from like the amount of like hardware purchases I make where it's like, okay, we're adding 18 lights to the cart in Amazon. And like part of it feels fun because I'm excited because I'm doing this design. I'm picking out these lights. I'm picking out the hardware and I'm excited. And then like, I just feel like, okay, like, even though I know I've planned out this house, I've set, you know, 5,000 for this, 2,000 for that. Like, it still feels like, holy shit, like I'm spending this money. And then I have to remind myself, Betsy, you can't sell the house without lights. You do have to purchase the house. Like you do have to purchase lights and you won't make any money if you don't. So like, it's just a whole thing. And I'm always curious if other business owners, no matter what field they're in, feel that way because any business requires so much upfront investment. And I'm sure everyone feels that way, which is at some point, like you just feel like you're just purchasing a bunch of stuff. Like, and you know what I mean?
I'm spending a whole lot of money that. Should I not? Yeah. You know what I was thinking about this week?
Yeah, I think that's a lot of mindset, especially with your parents saying, within those means, it's like, am I going beyond my means? Because you've been raised with that. And I think that's a lot of what we grew up. Our parents grew up with very, you know, a lot of them, my parents were very little. So they were very, very tight with their money and very, so I think that just kind of like, it's hard to like go and just do those kind of things. I think it's a big mindset thing, different shift.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sharon, what were you saying too about like the purchasing of business stuff too?
Oh, yeah, no, I was thinking about that this week where it's not only, you know, the purchasing of the stuff, but even just the mindset that it takes to get up every day, the loneliness of entrepreneurialism, right? I'll admit this on air, right? The last couple of weeks I've been depressed. Like, I don't want to get out of bed. Right? I don't want to do the thing. I know I have to do the thing because if I don't do the thing, it's my business and my business will tank. Right. But it's like, oh, I got to do a thing again today. Oh, you know, and it's that drive to keep going it gets very lonely sometimes, right? And it's that mindset that we have to overcome this in order to keep going, because of, like you were saying, about if you don't show up for you in your vibration, in your authentic self, you'll never connect with the people that are like you. And you'll never bring your light to the world that people deserve to see, right? People deserve red cabinets in a black and white kitchen, right? People deserve these things about us, because I don't know your philosophy, but like our creator made us who we are, right? To be a light in the world, and to inspire others, and to do things for others, and to give back beauty in the whole universe. So anyway,
That's really nicely said, Sharon. Yeah, I like that.
I felt like I was rambling, so thank you for saying that.
No, I feel like too. I mean, I felt like most connected to in the beginning when you said like how lonely entrepreneurship is, because you're exactly right. And no matter how many people work with us, are supporting us, and like all of that, like at the end of the day, like they still have their lives. They still, get to go home. You're the one lying awake at night thinking, okay, but am I gonna, make seller's promise? Am I gonna be able to sell this house? Am I gonna be able to, do this, pay that person? There's so much into it. And like a lot of it, like for me, comes down to like, okay, yeah, everyone else went home, but I still have to go do X, Y, Z, or, this isn't going to come through. And so, and I don't think like, no matter who I hire, I don't think that'll ever go away, because I think like we'll always all be trying to get to the next step. And I try to remind myself of that too, because like I'll have certain times, like example, when I bought the 4 houses where, in that moment, like I was like, well, if I just had more money, or if I was just in a better position or whatever, like I obviously still made it work. But it's like, if I had more money, then I'd be going for 8 houses. You know what I mean? Like I'd still be stretching myself. So like I try to remind myself of that too.
Right. Yeah. So what's next for you, Miss Betsy?
I'm going to, just because we were on this subject, I am going to Tulum on Saturday for another business retreat with the same girl. So I'm super excited for that. Hopefully more growth to come there. And I don't know, like I was just talking to Christina about this the other day, because she was like, where do you see yourself in a year? And when I originally started this, I really started flipping because I wanted to be a developer. And my dad was like, to be a developer, you have to have money. Like you don't have money. And I was like, okay, I'll get money. I will get money. And so I started this entire flipping journey. And I obviously love it, but I feel like I'm kind of at this like pivot where I made this goal to do 7 houses a quarter. And I've, been doing everything I can to make that happen. And also I'm open to other opportunities in the investing world. Like I think when I turn 30, which is in October, I want to start doing like 2 Airbnbs. I want to start acquiring 2 per year. And then also I'm open to like if some sort of small like apartment complex came my way, or like something commercial. Like I'm just, I feel like I'm ready for like the next step. And when I say ready, like I'm never feeling ready. It's not like I've got my, pile of cash sitting here or anything. It would take strings, but I feel like I'm not like totally glued to like, I have to do this many flips a year. Like I feel like I could still do that and do something bigger too.
Right.
It's like you've learned to crawl, and now you're running, and then you're walking, and then you're going to start running. And so you're just going through these stages, and that's kind of part of the investing, where most people start off wholesaling, and then they go into fix and flipping, and then holding
Not
property.
me, I went backwards.
You did, but you know what? You're so good at it, Sharon.
I love it. I'm sorry, I am so addicted to it. But it's because I love sales and I love people and I love all that stuff. So
it's so
natural. Everyone wants different things too. Like in the beginning and still now, like I love the cash. Like I'm like flipping cash. That's great. But now also I'm thinking like, okay, you don't have any retirement fund, and I'm not the type that I'm going to be saving. If I've got money, I'm spending it. So I'm like, if I want to retire one day, I need to start like just acquiring properties. Like, maybe 1 out of every 7 I end up keeping. So I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
saw your story today about Airbnbs in every state, and that's been my plan for like 2 years now. I'm like, oh, if I get one here, and then like strategically buy them where I
Right.
want to be throughout the year, so I can just like block off weeks, whatever, Phoenix in December and Miami in January. You know what I mean? And I'll
totally.
never have to see snow again, right? So maybe you need a partner on that, and we can buy houses together, and then we can just
Yes.
rotate.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
Yeah, it takes a lot of stress off of an individual. It's better, I think, to partner up on that. And you can't stay at all the places at the same time. So
Right.
No, exactly. No, I totally agree. I totally agree. And by the time we retire, like they'll be worth so much. We'll be like, perfect. Thank God we split it. That would have been too much.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are getting close to the end of the hour. See, it goes by so fast every
know,
week.
really
I'm like, what the heck?
Right.
No, it really does. That was wild.
Yeah.
So are you gonna let us know how we can find you, and everybody can reach out to you on Instagram and all your neat little places to find you?
Yeah. How do you want people to get in touch with you? Whether it's to have you come design a house for them or just follow you to see the cool things that you're up to. Tell us all about it.
So everything I post is usually to my Instagram and Facebook. Facebook is just Betsy Klein. The latest photo is a black and white photo. I only say that because I have an old profile. And then Instagram is at Betsy Klein, BetsyKline_Realty Design. And that's just spelled as Realty Design. So that's where I do a lot of posts. I do stories. That is the best way to find me. And I would love to connect. I love hearing from what people think, whether it's input on a house or they're looking for a house or anything like that.
Nice. I just realized I have totally spelled your name wrong on this ticker all whole show. There, I fixed it. Okay.
I didn't even see it. That's so funny. I sound like Betsy Klein Realty Design looks perfect. So yeah, I didn't even notice.
Cool.
But yeah.
All right, cool. Well, Betsy, I am so grateful to you. Thank you so much for coming on. This was such a fun conversation, and I am so glad that you're my friend and that we can do these type of things.
And I want to go follow you and see all the neat, fun stuff you've been doing.
Donna, you would love it.
Exciting. I know.
Yes.
I'm so excited to
All
see
her Instagram posts gives me inspiration for the work that I'm doing in my houses too. So not that I'm anywhere near as artistic, but I try.
Well, if you ever need anything, I'm here. Also, sell me some more houses.
All right. I got to increase on my marketing and we'll get going.
Don't make me beg.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, for tonight, bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Isn't bad. We're on the mountainside.